Linda Hargrove pushed my pregnant wife. She hit the concrete so hard the sound still echoes in my head. Our baby died that day. The police called it an accident. But I know what I saw, and I swear on my son's name, Linda will never sleep peacefully again. It all started like every American dream does, with a new house, a fresh start, and a future we thought we'd built with our own hands. My wife Rebecca and I had finally saved enough to buy a small 3-bedroom home in Meadowbrook Estates. White picket fence, tiny garden, a perfect place for our first child. Rebecca was 4 months pregnant, then glowing, laughing, building a nursery in her mind long before the paint had even dried. When we moved in, the first person to greet us wasn't a friendly neighbor bringing cookies. It was her Linda Hargrove, the HOA president. 60-something gray hair pulled so tight it looked like her face was fighting gravity. She smiled, but her eyes didn't. She handed me a thick binder. "Welcome to Meadowbrook Estates," she said, her voice smooth as ice. "These are our community rules. I expect you to read them carefully. We maintain very high standards here." Rebecca smiled back, polite as always. "Of course we're so excited to be part of the neighborhood." Linda's eyes drifted down to Rebecca's belly. "Children," she said slowly, as if the word itself annoyed her. "Section 12, paragraph 4, no outdoor play after 7 p.m., no toys left in the yard, and no chalk on driveways." Then she looked straight at my wife's stomach. "I hope you understand. Some of us value peace and quiet." That should have been the first warning sign. But I was naive. I thought people like her were just overzealous rule keepers. I was wrong. Linda didn't love order. She loved power. The first violation notice came 3 days later. Mailbox non-compliant with HOA standards. Fine $100. I stared at it in disbelief. Our mailbox was identical to everyone else's. When I called Linda to ask what was wrong, she answered sweetly, "The post is half an inch taller than regulation height." Section 8, paragraph 15. Half an inch. Are you serious? "Rules exist for a reason, Mr. Chin," she said. "I suggest you comply before fines accumulate." Rebecca touched my arm. "Let's just fix it, please." So I did. I cut the post, paid the fine, and hoped that would be the end of it. But it wasn't. Over the next few months, we got 17 violation notices. 17. Grass too tall. Porch light the wrong shade of white. Welcome mat too large. Flower pots not approved colors. I tried everything, paid. Every fine changed, every bulb, even brought her a gift basket to smooth things over. She smiled that fake smile and handed me another notice the next day. Rebecca started crying at night, clutching those papers like they were eviction notices. Her doctor warned her about stress. I tried to comfort her, to remind her this was temporary, that we'd outlast the nightmare. But Linda wasn't stopping, she was just warming up. Then came that October afternoon. The sky was perfect blue. Rebecca was 6 months pregnant, on her knees in the front yard, planting chrysanthemums, yellow, her favorite. I was working inside when I heard shouting. When I looked out the window, my stomach dropped. Linda stood over my wife, face twisted with rage, binder in hand like a weapon. 2 board members stood behind her, Frank Morrison and Patricia Wells, watching but saying nothing. "Those flowers aren't approved," Linda screamed. Section 19, paragraph 7 requires landscaping approval 14 days before installation. Rebecca slowly stood up, one hand on her belly. "Linda, please, they're just flowers. They're not hurting anyone." "The rules are the rules," Linda snapped. "Remove them now, or I'll call the police and have you removed from HOA property." Rebecca tried to calm her. "I'll take them out." "Okay. Just give me a minute." "Not fast enough," Linda said, and then she shoved her. It wasn't a violent push. It wasn't even hard. But Rebecca was off balance. Her center of gravity shifted. She fell backward, hands flailing, then hit the concrete walkway head first. The sound that followed will never leave me. By the time I got outside, my wife was lying motionless, blood pooling beneath her hair. Linda froze, hands out, eyes wide. "Rebecca." I dropped to my knees beside her. "Baby, can you hear me?" Her eyes flickered open, unfocused. "Mark, the baby. I can't feel the baby." The ambulance came. They took her. I followed behind, my hands covered in her blood. At the hospital, a doctor with kind eyes pulled me aside. "Your wife's stable, but the baby's in distress. The fall caused a placental abruption." We're doing everything we can." "Then save him," I said. "Please, save my son." He looked at me with pity. "He's only 24 weeks, even if we deliver now." "I don't want statistics," I shouted. "That's my son in there, save him." 3 hours later, another doctor came out, eyes red behind her mask. "Your wife will recover," she said softly. "But the baby—" She didn't finish. She didn't have to. Rebecca woke up the next morning. Her first words, "Where's Daniel?" I had to tell her. And when I did, when I watched the light die in her eyes, I swear something inside me died too. She screamed until her voice broke. She blamed herself. "I killed him," she sobbed. "I fell. I should have been more careful." "No," I said. "Linda killed him. She pushed you." But Rebecca couldn't hear me anymore. Weeks later, when she tried to end her life with a bottle of pills, I found her just in time. That night, sitting in the ER, watching them pump her stomach, I realized I had lost both of them, our son and the woman I loved. And Linda, she walked free. The police called it a tragic accident. Frank and Patricia couldn't recall what happened. There was no clear evidence. Case closed. I wanted to burn the entire HOA down, but instead I gathered proof. I pulled records, talked to neighbors, found out Linda had been forced to resign from another HOA years ago after harassment lawsuits. 2 settlements, gag orders, a pattern. She'd targeted 12 families here, young parents, minorities, until they moved out. I filed a lawsuit, wrongful death, emotional distress assault, harassment, HOA misconduct. It was all I could do. But even my lawyer was cautious. Without a direct witness, he said it's going to be hard to win. I remember sitting alone that night, surrounded by photos, Rebecca smiling her belly round the tiny blue onesie that said, "Daddy's little man." I asked myself, what if I'm wrong? What if she really did fall? What if I'm destroying myself, chasing something that won't bring him back? Then I heard her voice from the next room, whispering in her sleep, "I killed our baby." And I knew. I wasn't wrong. I couldn't give up. Months passed. Then one night there was a knock at the door. It was Mrs. Park, our elderly Korean neighbor. She looked terrified. "I need to tell you something," she said in broken English. "About that day, I saw everything." My heart stopped. "You saw Linda push her?" Mrs. Park nodded. "Yes, with both hands. I was scared to speak. She says she report me to immigration if I make trouble. But I cannot sleep anymore. I must tell truth." I nearly broke down right there. Her courage changed everything. My lawyer took her statement. She gave a deposition crystal clear. The defense tried to tear her apart, said her English was bad, that she was lying for money. But Mrs. Park didn't waver. "I saw her push," she repeated, "with my own eyes." 3 weeks before trial, Linda's lawyers called. They wanted to settle. $2 million. Public acknowledgement of responsibility. Permanent removal from any HOA role. I took it to Rebecca. She was sitting in the nursery again, holding Daniel's ultrasound photo. "They want to settle," I told her. Her voice was empty. "Take it. End this. I can't anymore." So I did. The settlement made headlines. The HOA collapsed, reformed under new leadership. Linda released a statement. "I deeply regret the tragic accident." Not an apology, not ownership, just words. But she lost everything, her position, her reputation, her control. You'd think that would make me feel better. It didn't. You can't buy justice. You can't resurrect a heartbeat. Months later, Rebecca and I moved away. New city, new house, no HOA. The money paid for therapy, for silence, for time to heal. Slowly, she came back to life. 4 years after Daniel's death, she got pregnant again. We named our daughter Hope. And when I held her for the first time, I cried not just for her life, but for the one we lost. Now every year we plant a tree for Daniel. A small oak that's growing taller, stronger, just like he should have. Sometimes I drive past Meadowbrook Estates. Linda's house has new owners, a young family with kids. I wonder if she still thinks about us. I hope she does. I hope she hears Daniel's name every night when she closes her eyes. Because I did what I said I would. I made her pay. Not with blood or revenge, but with exposure, with truth. She lost her power. Her mask cracked. Everyone saw what she really was. But me, I'll carry this forever. Because there's no victory in justice when the person you loved most never got to hold her child. If you're listening to this, remember one thing: power without accountability is tyranny, and silence it kills more than noise ever will.